Hi, my name is Al and I'm giving away a free gaming computer. I'm going to turn this gaming chair into a functional gaming computer by mounting parts on him and giving him away. I call the event Chairgate. So we are in Chairgate, day, I have to look it up, 60 something. Today we're not going to be working on anything or like building anything. We're just going to be doing a lot of talking, and I'm going to be working on the schematic. Oh, and we're going to be ordering the motherboard. So yay, that's fun. If you don't want to hear talking, thank you, bye-bye. And this is going to be a little stupid because I bought this thing that looks like a jockstrap, but it's not. It is actually like a thing to hold my phone onto my head, which is why I'm wearing this plain black hat, so I can put it on my head without it pulling my hair. Or I would be wearing one of my fun hats like All Might or Ken Kaneki, which is my favorite. I got this idea, Sam and Dean Winchester. I got this idea from the guy on TikTok who throws around the ice cream. I was like, how the hell does he record that? And then I looked it up and I'm like, oh, okay. Oh my god, this is heavy. This is heavy. So now, maybe I should have started the recording before I put it on my head, huh? This is stupid. Oh my goodness, the hat might be making my life harder. Yeah. That's stupid. But hey, like at least it's recording what I see, right? That was one of the main problems I was having with Chairgate. I was like, how am I supposed to record and use both my hands at the same time? Which seems like you would think that building a computer out of a chair, there would be more things, like harder things than that, but no. That's been my biggest issue. Oh my goodness, the hat might be making my life harder. Yeah. That's stupid. But hey, like at least it's recording what I see, right? That was one of the main problems I was having with Chairgate. I was like, how am I supposed to record and use both my hands at the same time? Which seems like you would think that building a computer out of a chair, there would be more things, like harder things than that, but no. That's been my biggest issue. Okay. My hat collection! It's weird that you can see what I can see. So ignore my nasty carpet. I spill and I have a cat. Okay. And then that is the schematic for Chairgate and my stuffies. Ow! Fuck! I just whacked myself in the camera. My closet's a mess. But I need a pencil. Okay. So this is my original motherboard for Yusuke. And I can use him as like a model for like the motherboard mount, because I actually think, oh shit, I actually think I want it this way on Yusuke, not this way. I'm gonna have to change that. Hold on. Computer geeks always have extra parts, so your bitch has extra parts. You see that? That is just perfect, actually. I think I want it sideways because so the motherboard is actually on Yusuke is going to be like that. I don't know how well you can see that. And I made a mistake with the schematic, which I can fix, no problem, it's not a big deal. If the motherboard is going to be like that, and it's going to be, this is the plugs, is going to be on the right side of Yusuke, then the PSU also needs to be on the right side, so that there's a little distance as possible between the motherboard and the PSU. And also the hard drive. So the hard drives will be moved from the right to the left, and the PSU will be moved from the left to the right. And then we can move that around. But I need to redraw this then, because I think I do want it to be vertical rather than horizontal. I need to find my white paint. And this is just white acrylic paint. I'm using acrylic paint because you can't really draw over any other kind of paint as well as you can acrylic, because it's water-based, which means it is basically liquid paper. Oh, look at that. I'm messy when I paint. I don't know how people, like, you see these girls on YouTube and they're like so put together when they paint and draw. And I'm like, how? When I paint, I have paint everywhere. And I guess I'm using my finger because I don't know where my paintbrushes are. Oh, that's gonna be fun. So for this, we need to cover him so I can redraw it. No! Okay, don't have paint near you, Sky. Oh my fucking God. Okay. I am so sorry. So we got the paint off of you, Sky. Oh, I do have a paintbrush. I found my paintbrush. I'm all over the place. We need to cover this because I need to redraw it vertical. And I've painted over this canvas many, many times, at least 4 times. This is for me because I want to keep something from ShareGate. You guys get Yusuke. And I have Frieza, but I want the schematic too. For those of you who don't know, that's Frieza. That's my personal computer. And the reason I named him Frieza is because you can designate hard drives for people who don't know. So the M.2, which holds my operating system, which is Windows, because Windows is more universal, it has multiple hard drives. The first hard drive, which is an M.2 boot drive, and an M.2 boot drive is good because it's mounted closer to the CPU. But my boot drive is an M.2, and its name, its designation is Captain Ginyu. So we have Frieza, which is the designation of my personal computer. Captain Ginyu is the M.2 drive. Chase is the partition on the M.2, which holds like registration files and that kind of thing, the important stuff. And then I also have Birder. Birder is a 7 terabyte SSD game. So I have 7 terabytes because I am constantly on our Xbox. I'm constantly having to uninstall games and reinstall new ones, and it's really annoying. So I don't put games on my boot drive. I put them in Birder. And I'm going to do the same thing with Yusuke. Yusuke is going to have Kuwabara. Kuwabara is going to be the partition on the M.2. So the designation of Yusuke is going to be Yusuke. Kuwabara is going to be the M.2. And then I'm also going to add 2 Barracuda SSDs. Barracuda because they're a really good brand. That's what I use for my computer. For game drives, it's going to be Kurama and then Hiei. That's why his name is Yusuke. And it's kind of hard to like reference something if it doesn't have a name. You know what I mean? Like, how am I supposed to talk about the chair? What am I supposed to call him? A computer chair? Well, it is a computer chair. But like, he needs a name. Oh, and that too. And we'll paint over this as well so I can make the necessary adjustments. And then here, we're also going to have that picture of the motherboard. I'm going to draw it here and up there so that I can have an accurate representation. Because it's one thing to say, hey, I'm going to build a computer out of a chair. It's another thing to show you how I'm going to do it. That's why I have, another reason why I have this schematic. So I can look at it and you guys can be like, ah, makes perfect sense. Even though it doesn't make any sense at all. I just realized that you couldn't see shit in that video because of the angle. So we're gonna, I'm gonna show you what I did. So I want the motherboard to be vertical on the back of Yusuke because the power, like the plugs on the motherboard are on the right side. So if the motherboard is facing right, it is going to be closest to this. This is a piece of metal I'm going to add with a power strip, and then this is where the PSU is going to be, and then this is where the 2 game drives, Kuwabara and Kurama are going to be. And then that is this beam here under the chair, that is under the actual chair, that is going to be holding all of that stuff. And then we have the calendar, which I also had to fix, but I think I want the motherboard to be vertical. And then my stuffies. That's Snorlax, Poe, Mario, and then I love garden gnomes, and my brother got me this for my birthday, and this is Edgar. And he's black and white, and I love it.
Okay, so now we are going to be doing some motherboard shopping, and the reason we're going on Amazon is because I actually have a family member who's buying it for me, and they said pick it off on Amazon, so I don't have to pay for it. And also, it's just easier. It's just easier to buy the... See? I think I might end up going for fucking Intel, because Micro Center Intel, this i9, which is a really good one, by the way, with the it's got integrated. And AMD, for some reason, a lot of them don't have integrated. So I'm going to end up probably adding a bunch of motherboards to the cart, and then we'll pick out whichever one we like the best. See, that's an i5. We don't want that. We want the i9. So a lot of people are under the impression that the motherboard is the brain of a computer. And this is just a very common misconception. That is not true, because the CPU is the brain of the motherboard. The motherboard is more like the heart. It's kind of pushing electricity to all the other little pieces, like the heart does blood for organs. So, actually, oh, wait a minute. The GPU, I mean, the motherboard doesn't matter as much. See, but also, does that have built-in Wi-Fi? Because it also has to have built-in Wi-Fi. The Intel Core i9, that's good. The integrated Intel graphics, that's good. MSI, that's good. They make good parts. Okay, it does have Wi-Fi in the DDR4. That was my biggest concern, because it has to have those two things. The CPU has to have integrated graphics, because it would be a huge oversight on my part if it didn't. I made that mistake with Frieza. Won't do it again. And the motherboard has to have a built-in Wi-Fi, because if it doesn't, it just makes my job harder. Because then I have to add a Wi-Fi card, and that's like old school. See, Asus, people are like, get Asus. No. It'll short out in like 6 months now. I'm not getting Asus. MSI is fine. See, that's an i7 DDR4 LGA. The i9 is still better. But I'm just wondering if I could possibly find an AMD with integrated graphics. See, that one has built-in Wi-Fi. But I bet you this core, the Ryzen 7, I bet you this core does not have integrated graphics. It doesn't say integrated graphics. So I'm assuming it doesn't. The other thing... This is probably going to sound ridiculous, but in my own personal computer, Frieza, I have 64 gigs of RAM, which is so unnecessary. But I'm going to do the same thing for Yusuke, 64 gigs of RAM, just to make sure it's as powerful as he possibly can be. But I think we're going to... This is a really good motherboard and a really good CPU, and it's $500. That was about what I wanted to spend on the CPU itself. So if I can get both for $500, let's look at the ratings, shall we? Let's look at the ratings. 4.5. Yeah. Total core 16 threads, 24 cache, power, graphics, SATA, wireless LAN and Bluetooth LAN. Those things are really important. 64-bit Windows. So Yusuke 64-bit. So whoever gets him, know that it's not 32, it's 64. I think we're gonna go with Intel. Originally, I was like AMD, but the integrated graphics is a real deal breaker for me, because I made that mistake before. And in my experience, now I know MSI is a really controversial company, because they have the worst customer service to ever be created, but they make good parts. They last a long time. I've had more problems with like MSI laptop batteries than I have with their actual parts. Okay, I gotta make this quick, because for some reason I'm having the hardest time getting footage off my iPhone onto Windows. So this is where we're at. Chairgate calendar. That is Yusuke. This piece of metal is going to be cut to be the shape of the back of the chair, and then on the right there, that is where the motherboard is going to be, and it's going to be attached. The two pieces of metal are going to be mounted on it, onto the chair, and then onto the other piece of metal so that the motherboard is removable. And then underneath the chair, we're going to have the PSU, power strip, Hiei, Kurama, which are the game drives. So yeah, like, subscribe if you want to win a free gaming computer. You know what to do. I don't have to tell you.